Okay, Hare Krishna everyone, welcome. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Let's say the Mangalacharan prayers very quick.
Om
Padantikam
Vande Jatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Sutam Sujeevam Advaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Shakhanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna
Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpati Gopesha
Radha Namaste Namostute
Kanchana Gaurani
Jai Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Sari Gaura Bhakta
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Krishnaya Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pandam Nante Giram Vande Shri Ananda Gurve Gaur Chandraya Radhikaya Tadase Krishnaya
Krishnaya Namo Namah.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Nana ji, Nani ji, Mata ji.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्णा सब माता जी और प्रभु जी इसको।
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा, हरे कृष्णा।
Okay, so I'm waiting for Nirbhay Prabhu. But we can start reading the translation of this song. And I think Vedahi has promised that she will sing her song next time, her bhajan next time, right? Okay. And Sheetal Mataji, Hare Krishna, Avni, Mansi, Manisha Mataji, Pooja Mataji, Vinita, Raina. Is Lalita Mataji there too? Okay, I see. Hare Krishna, Murli Prabhu. Okay. Okay, so this song is, you may remember we sang it maybe once or twice before, Shuddha Bhakat Charan Renu by Bhakti Vinod Thakur from his book Sharnagati. Okay, let's read very quick. Would the kids like to start? Number 1. Okay.
थोड़ा सा फॉन्ट माता जी थोड़ा सा और बढ़ा दीजिए.
Okay, who would like to start?
I can start.
Yes.
The dust of the lotus feet of pure devotees, enthusiastic devotional service, and service to the pure devotees of the highest order are the roots of the creeper of devotion.
That's the Bhakti Lata Bija. That's the Bij. Number 2.
The holy days like Ekadashi and Janmashtami are the mother of devotion for those who respect them. Let the holy places of Krishna's pastimes be my places of worship and bless me.
May I always visit all the holy places associated with the Leela of Lord Chaitanya and his devotees.
Hare Krishna.
When I hear the sound of the mridanga in my heart, I always desire to join in kirtan. And when I hear the bona fide songs describing Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, my heart dances in ecstasy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Would Anita Mataji, or did all the kids read?
Mansi and Pooja, they are still there.
Mansi, Pooja, you want to read one each? Mansi, Pooja, and Manisha Mataji.
Whenever I see the transcendental Sri Vigrahas of Radha Krishna, I am in bliss, for by taking their lordships, prasad, we can conquer over the material elements.
Pooja, you want to read?
Yes, Mataji. One day while performing devotional practices, I saw my house transformed into Goloka Vrindavana. When I take the
Charnamrita.
Charnamrita of the deity, I see the holy Ganga's waters that come from the feet of Lord Vishnu, and my bliss knows no bounds.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mansi dropped, I think.
Yes,
I can read the 7th one. Mataji. By seeing the Tulsi tree, my heart feels joy, and Lord Madhava, Krishna, is also satisfied. When I eat I think it's prasad. When I eat the prasad favored by Lord Chaitanya, it is a new life experience. Lord Chaitanya was very fond of a green vegetable preparation called saag. And there is another song in this book that tells of the amazing effects of this type of prasad. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, number 8, Bhakti Vinod concludes by saying, whosoever attains the stage of enthusiasm for this devotional practices will be supremely blissful wherever he may be.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Yeah.
Everybody see the screen? Hare Krishna.
Pranam.
Shuddha Bhagat Charana Renu Ajana Anukula.
Shuddha Bhakta Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula.
Shuddha Bhagat Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula.
Buddha Bhakta Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula.
Bhakta Seva Parama Siddhi प्रेमलति करमूला
भक्त सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेमलति करमूला
भक्त सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेमलति करमूला
भक्त सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेमलति करमूला
भक्त चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूला
शुद्ध भक्त चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूला
माधवती भक्ति जननी जेताने पालन कोरी
माधव तीर्थी भक्ति जननी तेराने पालन कोरी
माधवती भक्ति जननी जेताने पालन कोरी
माधवती भक्ति जननी तेराने पालन
कृष्ण बसती बसती बोली परम आदर बोरी
कृष्ण बसती बसती बोली परम आदर बोली
कृष्ण बसती बसती बोली परम आदर बोरी
कृष्ण बसती बसती बोली परम आदर बोली
भक्त चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूला
भजन अनुकूला
और अमर जे सब स्थाने कोरल ब्रह्मन रांगे और अमर जे सब स्थाने कोरल ब्राह्मण रांगे से सब स्थान हेरि बोआमी प्राणाई भक्त सांगे
से सब स्थान हेरि बोआमी प्राणाई भक्त संगे
ते सब स्थान हेरि बोआमी प्राणाई भक्त सांगे शुद्ध भक्त चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूला
शुद्ध भक्त चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूला
वेदंग बाज सुनीते माना अभसर साध जासे वेदंग बाज सुनीते माना अवसर सादा जासे गौर विहिता कीर्तन सुनी आनंद हृदय नाचे गौर विहिता कीर्तन सुनी आनंद हृदय नाचे मूर्ति देखिया मोरा परम आनंद होया
मूर्ति देखिया मोरा परम आनंद होया
मूर्ति देखिया मोया परम आनंद होया
जुगल मूर्ति देखिया मोरा परम आनंद होया
प्रसाद सेवा कोरित होया सकल प्रपंच जाया
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 जे दीन गृह भजन देखी रहित गोलोक भाया
दीन गृह भजन देखी गृह गोलोक भाया
जे दीन गृह भजन देखी रहित गोलोक भाया
जे दीन गृह भजन देखी गृहित गोलोक भाया
चरण सिद्धु देखिए गंगा सुख ससीमा पाया
चरण सिद्धु देखिए गंगा सुख ससीमा पाया
चरण सिद्धु देखिया गंगा सुख ससीमा पाया
चरण सिद्धु देखिए गंगा सुख ससीमा पाया
भक्त चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूला
चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूला
सेवा परम सेदि प्रेमलति करमूला
भक्त सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेमलति करमूला
तुलसी देखी जुराया प्राण माधव तोष जानी
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 गौर साका सेवा ने जीवन सार्थक मानी
और प्रिय साका सेवा
और प्रिय साका सेवा ने जीवन सार्थक मानी
और प्रिय साका सेवा जीवन सार्थक
भक्ति विनोद कृष्ण बाज अनुकूल पाया जा भक्ति विनोद कृष्ण भजन अनुकूल पाया जा प्रति दिवस परम सुख स्वीकार कोरयो था
प्रति दिवस परम सुख स्वीकार कोरयो था
प्रति दिवस परम सुख स्वीकार कोरयता
प्रति दिवस परम सुख स्वीकार कोरयता
शुद्ध भक्त चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूला
शुद्ध भक्त चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूला
भक्त सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेमलति करमूला
भक्त सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेमलति करमूला
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरि बोल।
हरि बोल। बहुत सुंदर, बहुत सुंदर।
प्रभु जी।
भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की
Jai,
जय
जय।
Jai. Brother.
Okay, thank you everyone for singing, participating. Is are most of the people celebrating Ekadashi?
Ji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. Okay. So Ekadashi typically means fasting from grains, beans, and also immersing more and more in Krishna Katha, more chanting, more hearing, more reading, all Krishna conscious activities. So let's try to do that. I think India's maybe already about to finish. It's night there. But for US people, if we can do more today, that'll be good. Okay, so are we ready to start 10th chapter? Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
So
All
I
Krishna
was thinking, let's recite the whole 10th chapter together, if you are okay. I tried doing that, and it takes only about 10 minutes, and it is very strong transcendental vibrations. It is all, Krishna's words, and these verses are very strong. And 10th chapter is the we always say God is great, right? It's very commonly said God is great, right? So here Krishna tells you how God is great, how he is great. He tells you all about his opulences. So the 10th chapter is called Vibhuti Yoga, or the opulences. So it is about the vibhutis or opulences of the absolute truth. So since today is the day to glorify the God, let's quickly recite the whole chapter. Is that okay? It will only take 10 minutes.
Mataji, all
Yes,
you
Mataji.
order. जो आप बोलेंगे हम लोग करेंगे.
Okay, so let's do this.
It's all our welfare. You are thinking for our welfare, so there is no hesitation.
Prabhuji, I think I'm thinking of my own welfare mostly. Okay. Hold on, I'll just pull it. Okay, so I'm just trying to get all Sanskrit here only.
Mataji, I don't think there is a way to pull up all the Sanskrit. You have to scroll it. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Prabhuji, we do it sometimes. You can get either all Hindi or.
Okay, okay.
So I'm just, there is advanced setting somewhere.
There is a thing that says English next to
No, there is
settings.
no other setting. I have checked that. It's only English or other language.
Oh.
Not that. Hold on, I'll open it.
Mataji have done. She knows. We have done nothing. We just sleep and eat.
Prabhuji, you are not just sleeping and eating.
प्रभु जी आप बहुत लोगों को इंस्पायर करते हैं, ये आप भूल जाते हैं हर बार. I am one of them. You inspired so much to me.
I need somebody to inspire me now.
This default view is not opening up for me somehow. Nirbhay Prabhu, are you there?
Yes.
Can you try to log into Veda base and open the, how we open only Sanskrit sometimes?
Yeah, sure.
Mine, I think I may have to reboot the computer to do that.
What chapter are we doing?
10th chapter.
No, so 10th chapter we are reading all the. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to change from the default view to the advanced view. Did you do that?
Yes. My default, like that's what is not happening. When I click, I think it's my computer. When I don't log out of it, it does this.
Okay. Okay, so I have them. So should I share the screen?
Yeah. Can you share it?
You have to stop sharing the screen.
You want me to
You have
make
to
it?
stop.
Okay.
You have to, or
I stopped.
it says that other person is sharing right now.
I stopped it.
Can
Okay.
you see it now?
Yes. But we need in English also because kids need to read it too.
Okay,
So not the translation, but just the.
sure.
Prabhuji, which browser is this for you?
So just do Nirbhay verse text, I think.
Yes.
कौन सा है browser?
I think once you share, I have to stop share and then change it. Wait.
Oh, that, wait.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Natasha Mataji,
Yes.
I can share the screen if you want me to. I have it pulled up with the translation.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Either one. Okay. Yes, that's perfect. Okay. So just for everybody, can you scroll up, Ryan, and shows that default view changes to advanced view? No, the other way. Yeah. See the advanced view up top.
This is Nearby Uncle's screen.
Okay. You can take out the purports if you want. Take out the translation, the synonyms. Nothing is there. So we just have the Sanskrit, which is Devanagari, and the verse text. Then you can see just this. Okay, let's recite. Can we? And let me very quickly say the mantra that's said before reciting. Om Shri Paramatmane Nama at Srimad Bhagavad Gita at Tashvam Adhyaya Vibhuti Yoga. Okay, so this will be the tune. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bhuya Eva Mahabaho Shrinu Me Paramam Vacha Yatte Ham Priyamanaye Vakshami Hit Kamya. So let's recite everybody together.
From here on, everybody recites together, right?
Should we keep on mute and recite, or one person recites loudly just so that it's not chaotic? Is that?
Whatever.
I think everybody should recite loudly.
Yeah, we will recite loudly in the mute mode and you recite in unmute mode. That will not be chaotic.
Okay.
But we will all recite loudly in the mute mode if everyone agrees.
Yes. Yes, everybody should recite on their own loudly, okay? Okay, let's start. We'll start with verse 1 again. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bhuya Eva Mahabaho Shrinu Me Paramam Vacha Yatte Ham Priyamanaye Vakshami Hit Kamya Name Vidu Suragana Prabhavam Na Maharishya Aham Adirhi Devanam Maharishinam Cha Sarvasha Yo Mam Ajam Anadim Cha Vetti Loka Maheshwaram Asammuda Samarteshu Sarva Papai Pramuchyate Buddhir Jnanam Asammoha Kshama Satyam Dama Sama Sukham Dukkham Bhavo Bhavo Bhayam Chabhyam Eva Cha Ahimsa Samata Tushtis Tapodanam Yasho Yasha Bhavanti Bhava Bhutanam Matta Eva Pratigvida Maharishya Sapta Purve Chatvaro Manavastatha Madbhava Manasa Jata Yesham Loka Ima Praja Etam Vibhutim Yogam Cha Mam Yoveti Tatvata सो विकल्पेन योगेन युज्यते नत्र संशया अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवो मत्ता सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भाव समन्विता मच्चिता मद्गत्पराणां बोध्यन्ता परस्परं तथ्यन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुप्यन्ति ते तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहम् अज्ञानमं तमा नाश्यामि आत्मभावस्थो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता अर्जुन उवाच परं ब्रह्म परं धाम पवित्रं परमं भवान् पुरुषं शाश्वतं दिव्यम् आदिदेवम् अजं विभुम् आहुस्त्वां ऋषयः सर्वे देवऋषि नारदस्तथा आसितो देवलो व्यासा स्वयं चैवाब्रवीषि मे सर्वमेत्यर्थं मन्ये यन्मां वदसि केशवा नाहि ते भगवान् व्यक्तिं विदुर्देवा न दानवा स्वयम् एवात्मनात्मानं वेत्ता त्वं पुरुषोत्तमा भूतभावना भूतेशा देवदेव जगत्पते वक्तुम् अर्हसि आशेषेण दिव्या हि आत्मविभूतया याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान् इमं त्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि कथं विद्यम् अहं योगिं त्वां सदा परिचिन्तयन् केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्तयोऽसि भगवन्मया विस्तारेणात्मनो योगं विभूतिं च जनार्दन भूया कथाय तृप्तिर्हि शृण्वतो नास्ति मे मृतम् श्रीभगवानुवाच हन्त ते कथयिष्यामि दिव्या हि आत्मविभूतया प्रधानता कुरु श्रेष्ठा नास्ति अन्तो विस्तरस्य मे अहम् आत्मा गुडाकेशा सर्वभूतास्य स्थिता अहम् आदिश्च मध्यं च भूतानामन्त एव च आदित्यानाम् अहं विष्णुर्ज्योतिषां रविरंशुमन् मारीचिर्मरुतम् अस्मि नक्षत्राणाम् अहं शशि वेदानां सामवेदोऽस्मि देवानामस्मि वासवा इन्द्रियाणां मनश्चस्मि भूतानामस्मि चेतना रुद्राणां शङ्करश्चस्मि वित्तेषो यक्षराक्षसां वासूनां पावकश्चस्मि मेरुशिखरिणाम् अहम् पुरुधासां च मुख्यं मां विधि पार्था बृहस्पतिं सेनानीनाम् अहं स्कन्दा सरसामस्मि सागरा महर्षीणां भृगुरहं गिरामस्मि एकमक्षरम् यज्ञानां जपयज्ञोऽस्मि स्थावराणां हिमालया अश्वत्था सर्ववृक्षाणां देवा ऋषीणां च नारदा गन्धर्वाणां चित्ररथा सिद्धानां कपिलो मुनि उच्चैश्रवसाम् अश्वानां विधिमाममृतो भवाम् ऐरावतां गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम् आयुधानाम् अहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामधुक् प्रजनश्चस्मि कन्दर्पा सर्पानामस्मि वासुकी अनन्तश्चस्मि नागानां वरुणो यादास्महं पितॄणाम् आर्यमा चस्मि यमासंयमतमहं प्रह्लादश्चस्मि दैत्यानां कालाकलायतमहं मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनत्यश्च पक्षिणां पावतामस्मि रामाशस्त्रभृतम् अहं झषाणां मक्रश्चस्मि स्रोत्रस्मि जानवी सर्गाणाम् आदिरन्तश्च मध्यानां चैवाहम् अर्जुना Adhyatma vidya vidyanam vada pravadatam aham. Aksharanam akaro asmi dvandva sama sikshayasya cha. Aham eva kasya kalo dhataham vishvato mukha. मृत्यु सर्वहरश्चाहम् उद्भावश्च भविष्यताम् कीर्ति स्त्रीवाक् च नारीणां स्मृतिर्मेधा धृति क्षमा बृहत्सामा तथा सामनां गायत्री छन्दासामहम् मासानां मार्गशीर्षो अहम् ऋतूनां कुसुमाकारा द्यूतानां चलायताम् अस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहं जयो अस्मि व्यवसायो अस्मि सत्त्वां सत्त्वतामहं वृष्णीनां वासुदेवो अस्मि पाण्डवानां धनञ्जया मुनीनामपि अहं व्यासा कवीनाम् उषा न कवि दण्डो दमायतामस्मि नीतिरस्मि जिगीषताम् मौनां चैवस्मि गुह्यानां ज्ञानं ज्ञानवतामहम् यच्चापि सर्वभूतानां बीजं तदहम् अर्जुन न तदस्ति विना यत्स्यान् मया भूतां चराचरम् नान्तोऽस्ति मम दिव्यानां विभूतीनां परन्तपा एषा तु देशता प्रोक्तो विभूतेर्विस्तारो मया यद्यद्विभूतिमत्सत्त्वं श्रीमदूर्जितम् एव वा तत्तदेव अवगच्छा त्वं मम तेजोंशसम्भवम् अथाव बहुनेतेन किं ज्ञातेन तवर्जुन विष्टाभ्याहम् इदं कृत्स्नम् एकांशेन स्थितो जगत् ओम तत्सत् श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्म विद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्ण अर्जुन संवादे विभूति योगो नाम 10th अध्यायः हरि बोल
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
So whoever recited, how was the experience?
Was good.
So I was listening to one of Vaishashika Prabhu's lecture, and he was saying that this is one of his routine practice. He recites one chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day. So, and it doesn't take, I mean, this is one of the longer chapters if you think about it. This is 42 verses. There are longer also. 18th chapter is the longest, it has 78 verses. Second chapter was the next one, 72 verses, I think, 72 or 73. So this is one of the longer ones and took 10 minutes. So maximum will take 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And he does that every day. Either that or just read the translations of one chapter every day, one chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So it just, you hear, I mean, if those of you who understood some part of the shlokas that we were reciting, Krishna is basically reciting all his opulences, right? He's saying, I am Arjuna among Pandavas, I am Prahlad among Daityas, right? I am Himalaya among the mountains, right? Among the Gajraj or among the elephants, I'm the Gajraj. So basically, so many things he's saying. I'm Ganges among the rivers. So he's basically saying that he's best among everything. He doesn't mean that he's not there in other things. He's all pervasive. He's present in everything, everywhere, right? But he's also the best among everything. So anything he says, he's the ability in mankind that we read before in 7th chapter. So here he's again proving that he is the, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Who else can say that? Can any of us say that we are this, we are that? No, only a supreme personality of Godhead can say that, right? And so many places he says Maheshwaram. So somebody may question, okay, you keep saying Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Where is that said? Right? It's said here in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is saying it. And then somebody will say, okay, I can say that also. I'm this, I'm that. What is the proof? Well, he showed his Virat Roop. Can you show your Virat Roop? Can you show your universal form, right? And then Arjun also confirms in verse 12th and 13th that I have heard this from many other rishis, and now you are also saying that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, so now I'm hearing it from you yourself, and I've heard this said from Narad Muni, Asito, Devalo, Vyasa, right? Ved Vyas. So many other Maharishi have said the same thing to me, and now you are also saying it. So it increases our own faith, our own doubts go away about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, about how Krishna is the absolute truth, Satyam Param Dhimahi. And when our doubts go away, then our devotional service becomes stronger, because you only want to, you're devoting so much time, so much energy, so much, you know, like we were talking, Ravi Prabhu and I were talking, and we were saying that for devotees, actually the weekend gets busier than the weekdays. So for materialistic people, for people that are engaged in sense gratification, weekends are a time to just relax and enjoy. And we are saying that our weekends are getting busy. So you would only want to get your weekends to become busy for somebody who is worth it, right? So here you see what Krishna is. You establish your sambandh with him, your relationship with him. You see, this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why I'm doing this, to go back to him, this person who is all of these things. So when your doubts go away, your devotional service gets stronger. So that's why we, you know, read Bhagavad Gita. We do all these things to get clarify our doubts, so we're not wasting our time, right? We're doing this for a very, very supreme cause, for the absolute truth itself. Satyam, Satyam, Puna Satyam. Another thing Prabhuji, Shashika Prabhu said, so rings so true. When somebody passes away, when somebody leaves their body, you know, we carry the body and say Ram Nam Satya hai. But Ram Nam was always Satya. Why don't we say that in the life? We have to say the names of Hari, name of Lord Ram in our life also. It is not Satya only at the time of one leaving our body. So Ram Nam is Satya throughout the life. Satyam, Satyam, Puna Satyam, the only truth, the absolute truth. So that's why we're doing this. So on a Sunday morning, why are we sitting here for 2 hours reciting Bhagavad Gita, reading Bhagavad Gita, you know, singing Vaishnava Bhajan, chanting one round? Why? Because this is the absolute truth. Okay, so shall we start reading? Let's read first few verses. Okay, so shall we start from adults this time? Would Murli Prabhu, Ravi Prabhu, Binay Prabhu, and let's see who else.
Nanaji.
Nanaji, would you like to read the first 4 of these verses?
Sure.
Start with the first one. You can start anywhere. Murli Prabhu, would you like to start?
Yes, Pataji. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained." Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Better.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin, for in every respect I am the source of all demigods and sages.
Hare Krishna. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the Supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only deluded among men, is freed from all sins.
Yes. Oh, okay. Hare Krishna. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of senses, control of mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy. All these various qualities of living being are created by me alone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, let's just do these 4. So I think I mentioned in the group that this chapter, so we know that 9th and 10th chapter, well, the middle 6 chapters are full of Bhakti Yoga, and 9th and 10th chapter are the peak of devotion, right? So in 9th chapter, it was more full of what is called Madhurya Ras, meaning it talks about sweetness of Krishna. It talks about the loving exchanges of Krishna with his devotees, right? Like Krishna says, Yat karoshi, yadashnasi, whatever you do for me, whatever you give me with love and devotion, I'll accept, right? What are the promises? Krishna makes many promises, right? Whether can you mention one other promise that he says?
He says,
Like 9.22.
isn't that?
Ananyas-chintantam.
Yeah, Ananyachintayanto mam yejana paripasite tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham.
Right? He says, I carry what you lack and preserve what you have, right? He also says, Shipram Bhakti Dharmatma, right? That my devotee never perishes, right? Name Bhaktya Pranashyati. He says, Api Chet Suduracharo, even if he does some abominable action, he comes back to the path of righteousness. He says so many loving exchanges. Like he talks about exchanges between devotee and him, right? He talks about Samoham Sarvabhuteshu, that I am equal to everybody, I'm impartial, but I'm friend to my devotee and he's a friend to me, right? And then he says that other people don't know me, Avjananti Mam Muda, right? Manusham, that other people think that I'm just ordinary human being. So many loving exchanges between God and devotee are being described in 9th chapter. Now 10th chapter, so that was Madhurya Ras. That was more about sweetness of Krishna, how Krishna reciprocates with his devotee. And 10th chapter is more about something called Aishwarya Bhav. Aishwarya Bhav means opulences. So now, so far Arjun was thinking, okay, this is my dear friend, right? There is actually a book on Krishna. It's called My Best Friend, My Dear Friend, My Best Friend, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, right? He's the best friend. So that was the bhav so far. Now in this chapter, we realize that this person we were thinking our friend, he says that I'll protect you, I'll carry. We can say this to our friends, right? I'll protect you, I'll take care of you. Don't worry, like a mother will say to her child, or a father will say to her child, to his child, right? I'll protect you, I'll take care of you. Don't worry, you will come back to me. Other people don't know me, you know me. So this is like a loving relationship, loving exchange. Then comes the Aishwarya Bhav, when Arjun realizes, oh, this person I've been talking to so casually, who's driving my chariot, this is not just my friend. This is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's full of all opulences. And this Krishna starts saying, I'm this, I'm that, I'm Himalaya, I'm the Ganges, I'm the best in everything. So he realizes, oh, this person is full of so many opulences. So this is the Aishwarya Bhav of Krishna. So when Madhurya Bhav and Aishwarya Bhav are mixed together, that brings out such devotion in a person that not only this is a loving friend of ours, the little Gwala who was playing with other gopis and gopas, this is also the Dwarkadhish, full of opulences. He's the proprietor, creator of everything. From him comes all the, he's the origin of all the qualities of men. He's the origin of all char, achar, everything, right? So then in the first shloka that Prabhuji read, we'll read it again. He's saying, listen again to this supreme instruction. So now Arjun will start listening with the bhav of like a subservient bhav, like I'm your servant, you are the supreme personality of Godhead. So far he was thinking, I'm your friend. So let's read that. He says, but what is, and if you notice that in other chapters, chapters typically open with Arjun asking a question, right? Arjun says this, or can you answer me this? Can you answer me that? Here now Krishna is in full flow. Krishna is in full ecstasy when he's describing devotional service. This is his favorite topic. He's not, replying to mundane knowledge of Vedas. He's not talking about now yogas or, renunciation or karmas and these kind of things. He's talking about the deep devotional matters now. This is his favorite topic. So he's in a flow. He's not stopping anymore. He's not letting Arjun ask. Now he's just talking himself. The first shloka opens with Krishna answering himself. So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha भूया एवा महाभावो शृणु मे परमं वाचा यत्ते हम प्रियम मानाया vakshami hitakamaya. So he says, Hey Mahabhavo, or this is another name for Arjun he's using, Shrinu me paramam vacha. Listen to this supreme instruction again. Bhuya means again. Listen to this supreme instruction again. Why should you listen? Because you are very dear to me. Priya Manaya, that I consider you very dear to me. Vakshami hitkamya. I'm speaking for your benefit, for your hit. Hit means benefit. I am speaking this supreme instruction for your benefit. So he says, listen to this again. So what is he gonna tell him? He's gonna tell him how he's so opulent, how he's Bhagwan. So then the question comes, as far our understanding so far, can anybody tell what is the definition of Bhagwan? What does word Bhagwan means?
There are 6 Bhagwan.
Yes, Prabhuji.
भगवान के 6 गुण हैं, ऐश्वर्य, बल, वैराग्य,
सुंदरता, beauty,
beauty,
fame, like बहुत प्रसिद्ध.
Yes.
And still all these then renounce. सबसे मुक्त, वैराग्य.
Yes, perfect. Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes. So just like, Gyanwan means, right, somebody who's a possessor of knowledge, right? Dhanwan is a possessor of wealth, right? So Krishna or Bhagwan, Bhag means opulences, Van means possessor of opulences, right? So he's the possessor of all 6 opulences. There are many, many infinite opulences, but these 6 are the prime opulences. So otherwise there are so many, we say like 64 kalas of Krishna, Krishna ki 64 kalaएं, या फिर actually infinite opulences, but these 6 are the main opulences that are described. So Bhag means opulences and Van means possessor. Balwan, like somebody who's possessor of bal or strength. So that is a Balwan, Gyanwan, Dhanwan. So similarly, Bhagwan, possessor of opulences. And Prabhuji described the 6 opulences. Can any of the kid mention them quickly? Recite them very quickly, the 6 opulences. Vinita, would you like to try? Can't hear you, Vinita. Some volume is low.
The 6 opulences are fame, wealth, beauty, knowledge, humility, and
so I think by humility you meant renunciation.
Yeah, renunciation and
I don't know which one she left out. So you said fame, knowledge.
I think the strength is missing.
strength. And strength. Yeah.
Yes, perfect. Hari Bol. Thank you so much. So that is what Krishna is saying in this shloka, that I will give you now the supreme instruction because you're my friend. So he keeps saying that you're my friend, right? And can any of the kids say which other shloka he says that I'm the friend or the well-wisher? Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji, would you like to say?
Mataji, I don't know the whole sloka, but yeah, he says that Sarva Bhutanam Hridyo Sthito Sarva Bhoktanam, that one is.
Yes.
The best.
So which shloka is that? Did Prabhuji give the hint? Is Avni there? Avni, yes. Do you want to try? No. 5.29.
Yes.
Suhirdam Sarva Bhutanam Gyantva Mam Shantam Vikshati.
Okay, thank you. So that is what is said in the purport as well, that I'm the best friend of all, Arjun here is just, he's talking to Arjun, but this is implied for all the living entities. It doesn't mean that, okay, he's just saying to Arjun, he's not our friend. It is implied for everybody that he's a well-wisher, best friend, Suhrid Sarva Bhutanam, he says. Suhrid in Sanskrit means friend, right? Such a beautiful language. Sanskrit has so many words for friends actually, Mitra, Suhrid. So Suhrid means best friend. I'm the best friend I'm the well-wisher of all living entities, Sarva Bhutanam. And here he's saying, I'm your best friend. So I'll give you the best instruction, right? When your friends, you know, people you know that are your well-wishers, when they tell you to do something, like I tell Navya sometimes, you know, I tell you to do something, I'm your well-wisher, just do it, right? It's not, you don't need to doubt me. I will not tell you anything that is not good for you, right? We say that to our kids all the time, right? Similarly, Krishna is a supreme father. He's saying this to Krishna, and he's saying to Arjuna, and Arjuna meaning to all living entities, he's saying that. Then in the next one, he says, Name vidu suragana prabhavam na maharishya aham adir hi devanam maharishinam cha sarvasha. So he says, neither the demigods, so suragana, sur is gods, asur is demons, right? Asur is a word for demons. Everybody probably knows that. Asur. Sur is demigod. So Devta is sur, and Asur is Rakshas or demons or bad people. So he says among the demigods, Prabhavam or Maharishi. Maharishi means great sages. The demigods or great sages also do not know my opulences and origin. Name Vidu. Vidu typically means they don't have knowledge of me. So even the demigods and great sages do not know me. Why don't they know me? Then he answers in the next sentence. Why doesn't he know me? Why don't they know me? Aham adir hi devanam. Because I've come before them. I'm their source. I am their origin. So they don't know me because I come before them. I am their adi. Adi means the origin. So just like imagine if it is a kid, right? Let's say it's Navya. She won't know of my past life. She won't know who my parents are or what have I done in my life until I tell her, right? So the next person won't know until the person before tells you. So similarly, he says, these are my kids, basically. I am their origin. I am their adi. So the great sages or demigods are my children. So they don't know me until they inquire from me. So they don't, if they ask me, or if I tell them, then only they'll come to know me. But they don't know of all my opulences of my origin or about me because I am their father. I'm their supreme father, right? So that is pretty straightforward, I think. Prabhuvam always means origin. Like one of the very famous shlokas that will come soon. Aham sarvasya prabhuvo, right? Kids know that shloka, 10.8. 10.8 is where the Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita begins. The 4 shlokas that are the essence of Bhakti Yoga from Bhagavad Gita is 10.8, 9, 10, and 11. So those 4 shlokas are in this chapter. So we'll spend more time discussing those. So I'm going forward on this quick little faster. But Prabhuvam typically means origin. So he says that I am their origin. Prabhuvam. So they don't know my origin because I am their adi. I am their source. If you remember Bhagavatam also, the first verse itself says that even the demigods and great sages get bewildered by me. He says, Tene Brahma Redaya Adi Kavaye Muyanti Yatsureya. That even the demigods are Muyanti, meaning bewildered by me. They don't know me, they are bewildered by me, right? So then in the purport, Prabhupada says, how can one know Krishna? And he says, you can know Krishna by surrendering to him, and then by his causeless mercy, he will give you the knowledge. And this is also coming in the later shlokas when Krishna says, Tesham eva anukampartham aham ajnanamam jantama, right? Does anybody other than kids know this shloka? Right, 10.10, that with my anukampa, with my causeless mercy, I take away all the ignorance and darkness and give the knowledge. So he says, they don't know me. Demigods and great sages don't know me. So what do they have to do? You have to ask him. You have to surrender to him like Arjun did. Arjun asked him, he surrendered, and then Krishna will give his causeless mercy and we can inquire from him. Now, somebody may say, Arjun was standing in front of Krishna, so he could ask him, right? All these demigods, great sages have connection with him. They are so, austere. They do so many tap to reach God. So they have connection with him. They can see him in their heart, or he appears to them, he responds to them, reciprocates with them. We are just general public. We are, just very in the initial phase struggling to understand Krishna. So how do we ask Krishna? How do we see Krishna?
Through his agent, through the Guru.
Yeah, through his agent, through the spiritual master. What else? How else can we see him?
By chanting.
By chanting, yes. Yes, Krishna is not different from his name, right?
Yes.
Abhinatvam nam namina, right? Right? So he's not different from his name. Yes, so you can perceive Krishna by chanting. What else? How else can we connect with Krishna? And yes, Anita Mataji?
By serving his devotees.
Yeah, we just read, right? Shuddha Bhakta Charan Renu Param Siddhi. Right? So you get the, yes, Nebe Prabhu.
Guru Sadhu Shastra.
Guru, so Prabhuji mentioned Guru before, Mataji mentioned devotees, Sadhu, and now Shastra also, yes. Scriptures. So by reading, like we just read all these verses from Bhagavad Gita, we, by Nityam Bhagavad Sevya, right? Bhaktir Bhakti Naishtiki, right? Nityam Bhagavad Sevya, right? Okay. And Vedahi, you were saying something?
Yes, by like reading his pastimes.
Yeah, by reading his pastimes. So immersing in his name, form, qualities, pastimes, right? Okay, so you already mentioned so many things. So yes, so Krishna is not, if you have the right vision, then you can see Krishna in everything. The person who does not want to see Krishna cannot see him anywhere. But the person who wants to see Krishna can see him in everything. So he can, in the books, Krishna is the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. In the food, Krishna is the prasadam. In the human beings, Krishna is the spiritual master and devotees, right? In the form of plants, Krishna is Tulsi. In the form of rock, Krishna is Govardhan Hill. In the form of stones, Krishna is Shaligram Shila, right? So the person who wants to see Krishna can see him anywhere. In the transcendental sound vibration, he is the Japa, right? He's the Harinam Sankirtan. So basically, the person who wants to see Krishna will see his presence in everything and everywhere. So that's how we can connect to Krishna. We are not on that platform where we can reciprocate directly with him like Arjun did, but we can have loving exchanges with him still, and through deity, the deity worship, the deity in the temple, the Vigraha Seva can also give us the the right mood of devotional service. So many ways you can serve Krishna. By chanting, you are pleasing Krishna. By reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, you're pleasing Krishna. You're surrendering. You're saying that I'm under your shelter, right? And then Krishna, by his causeless mercy, he says, Tesham eva anukampartam aham ajnanamam jantama, that I take away the darkness and the ignorance. Nashyami atma bhavasto gyan dipen bhasvata, that I give the knowledge. So that is how one can connect. So demigods and rishis don't know me, but he says, I will, because I'm their origin, they don't know me, but in the purport Prabhupada is saying they can know him by surrender and by his causeless mercy. Okay, so number 3, Yo mamajam anadim cha veti loka maheshwaram asammuda samarteshu sarva papa pramuchyate. So he says, those who know me as Ajam. Ajam means unborn, right? Ajam means that one who does not take birth. Anadim, who has no end, who has no Adi. No beginning. Adi means beginning, who has no beginning, right? So, Yo Mam Ajam Anadim, those who know me, that I have no, that I don't take birth and I have no beginning, that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am the Supreme Maheshwar, not just Ishwar. Like Brahmaji can be Ishwar, Lord Shiva can be Ishwar, but I'm Maheshwar. I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Asammuda, so those people are freed from all delusion, they're undeluded. Marteshu means people that are subjected to death. So like us, we take birth and we die. So those people get deluded and get free from all sinful reactions. Sarva papa pramuchyate. So those people that know me, that to be unborn, without beginning and unborn, and know me to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Supreme Master, they become undiluted and are freed from all sinful reactions. So if somebody asks you, where does he say that he is the supreme person or Maheshwar? This is one of the shlokas. And now I'll again ask, where else does he say that he's the supreme personality of Godhead? That Avni just recited. Same shloka says that too.
Bhoktaram Yajnatapsam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram.
Yeah, Muktaram Yagyatapsam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Sarvalok Maheshwaram, the supreme personality of Godhead. And in Brahma Samhita, if you remember, we have read this verse many times. If kids are now wanting to advance to next level from Bhagavad Gita, then I'd recommend remembering these two verses from 3 verses from Brahma Samhita, 5.1, 5.33 and 38, if you are interested. Because this pretty much summarizes all the qualities of Krishna and the way devotees are.
So which are the other shlokas, Mataji? 5.1?
5.33 and 5.38. So this one, and these are recited in this tune. Advaitam achyutam anadim anantarupam adyam purana purusham navayovanam cha vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhaktau govindamadi purusham tamham bhajami. So here Brahmaji is also saying that you are without a second, one without a second, right? Matta partaram nanyat. That nobody, that I'm one without second. There is nobody like me. Achyutam, right? Without the one who does not fall down or get degraded. Anadim, who has, so we just read Anadim without a beginning. Anant, without an end. Adyam, who is the original person. Purana Purusham, original primeval person. Navyognam, that he does not get old. He's always full of blooming youth. And he may not be very easily understandable by Vedas, but he's understood by the pure devotees, Atma Bhaktao, by the Bhakti. So here he's saying that I can be understood by the pure devotional service, right? So, and then how do we just talked about this, how do the pure devotees see him? They see him everywhere, but you have to have the eyes anointed with love and devotion to see him, right? Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadeva hrideshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintaya guna swarupam govindamadi purusham tamham bhajami. Okay. So so in this way, Krishna says that I can be seen, my presence can be felt everywhere. So he says that those that know me are undiluted and freed from all sins. Is that clear so far? Any additions or realizations? Please share, everybody. We'll do one more. The next one has 2 verses together actually. And this lists many, many qualities that are coming from Krishna. So he says, what does he say? Let's see what qualities he's talking about and see if we can, what qualities we have, what qualities we need to improve on, right? So, Buddhir Jnanam Sammoha Kshama Satyam Dama Sama Sukham Dukkham Bhavo Bhavo Bhayam Cha Bhayam Eva Cha Ahimsa Samata Tushtis Tapodanam Yasho Yasha Bhavanti Bhava Bhutanam Matta Eva Prithagvida. So the first shloka is listing about 13 qualities. Okay. Buddhi means intelligence. Jnanam, knowledge, right? Let's all say it together, everybody. Asammoha.
Asammoha.
Freedom from doubt.
Freedom from
Freedom
doubt.
from doubt.
Right? You have to be free of doubt. Shama.
Shama.
Forgiveness, right? Very difficult in this Kali Yuga. Shama is very difficult to come by. People hold on to grudges, right? And so many conflicts because of that. Satyam. And let's see what qualities we have and what we need to improve. Introspect. Satyam, truthfulness. Right? Truthfulness. Dhamma. Control of senses.
Of senses.
Control of senses, right? Sama, control of the mind, like equipoised or sama means control of the mind, right? Manas vegam. We read last time, right? Mana vegam. Sukham dukham. So sukh and dukh is happiness and distress, right? Birth and death. Bhava abhavo. Abhava. Bhav abhava is birth and death. Bhayam chabhyam. Bhayam cha abhyam. Abhyam is fearlessness and bhaya means fearfulness, right? So we are typically in material condition, we are very fearful. We are very fearful because we are worried that something will happen to us or to our loved ones, to our body or to their body or to our wealth, to our property. Something we are fearful of changes in our situations, we are fearful of infamy, fearful of loss of property and wealth and everything like that, fearful of death, fearful of loss of loved ones, so many things we are fearful of. And then other qualities. So this first one had 13 qualities, and then Krishna is mentioning some more things, about 7 more things. Ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-violence, right? Samata. Samata means equilibrium, like or in Purport Prabhupada is describing it as equanimity. Equanimity means like treating people same, right? Not like Vidya Vinay Sampanne, right? Brahmane Gavi Hastini. So treat different people similarly, not differentiate. Tushti. Tushti means satisfaction and being self-satisfied, like Atmaram. Like Krishna is described as Atmaram, right? He does not need anything. So Tushti, and great sages, devotees are typically self-satisfied. So Tushti. Tapo. Tapo means austere or austerities. So we do penances, right? So penance, the purpose of penances is to purify you, right? Like today we are fasting for Ekadashi. Somebody is doing nirjal, somebody is eating only fruits, somebody is fasting from grains. So to their own capabilities and abilities, they are voluntarily depriving themselves of something as their love, to display their love for God, right? So that is being austere. Danam, charity. So voluntarily giving something, right? Yasho and apyash. Yash and apyash is fame and infamy. And he says, Bhavanti Bhava Bhutanam, all these qualities of the living entities come from me. Matta eva prithak vida. They are variously arranged by me. So they variously come from me. So all these qualities basically that we see in each other, that we appreciate in each other, or even despise in each other, both auspicious and inauspicious things, both come from Krishna. So the things that we, all these good things about intelligence, knowledge that we like in somebody, somebody who's free of doubt, who's very fixed, who's very convinced, very, who's firm in their faith and conviction, asammoha. Those are good qualities about them. Kshama, forgiveness, right? Some people are called to be more, like especially women are called to be able to forgive more easily. Higher pure devotees are able to forgive more easily. They are very tolerant of other people's offenses towards them. Satyam, right? So this is something that we have been taught from childhood, to be honest, to be true, to not say any lies. Dhamma, sama. We've been reading this from the very first of Bhagavad Gita, that we have to control our senses and mind, right? We should not let them control us. We should control them, right? So we should not just see whatever the eyes want to see. You should not just eat whatever they want to eat. We should control them with intelligence and knowledge that, hey, this is not good for you. This is not good for you in long run. This is not good for you materially or spiritually. So don't indulge in these things. With the intelligence, with knowledge, you're able to control your senses and mind, right? And sukha dukkham bhavo. And then in the death, birth, sukh, dukh, a person is able to stay sane. All these things are coming from in the dualities, infamy, sukh, dukh, distress, everybody, every reversals of life, somebody is able to stay very equipoised, sthit pragya purush, right? Those are the qualities coming from Krishna. Non-violence, right? non-violence. Like the one non-violence that we practice is not eating meat. That is Jeev Daya. That those animals are not put on the earth for us to eat. They are also children of Krishna. So ahimsa, and then many other ways that ahimsa can be practiced. Ahimsa is actually on a very, very subtle level. Ahimsa means to actually give people spirituality and Krishna consciousness. If you read the purport of this shloka, you will see that Prabhupada is saying that that is the best kind of non-violence. Samata, we just read about equanimity. Tushtis, being self-satisfied, right? They're not hankering, like pure devotees or elevated souls are not always hankering for something, right? They are not giving into each and every desire that comes to them. If you remember in second chapter, Krishna compared this to, he gave an analogy, like in an ocean, so many rivers come, right? But the ocean is not agitated by all those rivers that are coming into it. Right? Similarly, in our mind also so many desires come, but we should not get agitated by those desires. We should be self-satisfied, right? You cannot try to satisfy each and every desire. That will lead you away from the path of self-satisfaction and self-realization. So just suddenly like a desire comes into my head that, okay, I want to eat Golgappe right now. Well, so then I'll travel like, to Memphis or somewhere to eat Golgappas. And in this, how am I, I'm wasting my time and energy and money and just so much resources for what? To just fulfill one whimsical wish, right? So we should be very intelligently able to filter the unnecessary desires and just give in to the desires that are helpful for us in long run, right? Tapo, and we already talked about tapo, how we practice some austerities, danam, right? Charity. We talked about charity in the past, that there are some charities that are helpful. And remember that we should be practicing charity in mode of goodness, right? Treating people as parts and parcel of Krishna. And in this mood that everybody is part of Krishna, we should be doing the charity, not for our own sense gratification, that by doing this charity, I'll get so much recognition, I'll get so much fame, my name will come in the newspaper because I donated so much money to this foundation or that foundation. You should see what that foundation is, what their purpose is, what are they serving, and am I giving my money or my charity or whatever you're giving, energy or your efforts for a good cause or for just useless cause. Yash, apyash, all this comes from Krishna, he says. So I think that's pretty clear. Let's see, we don't have too much time. I just wanted to see if anybody else has any thoughts on this. Now, all these qualities that Krishna is mentioning, right? Somebody says, let's start with the first one, intelligence. Somebody made the atom bomb, nuclear bomb, whatever. They also use their intelligence in making that atom bomb, right? So that intelligence was also given by Krishna. Now, somebody does austerities, like Hiranyakashipu also did austerities. And then he got this boon, I should never be killed by this inside or outside, in the day or night, or by animal or human being, so many things. He used his intelligence in such a creative way to ask the perfect boon so that he can never be killed, right? And also he used his austerity. He had so much austerity. I mean, we cannot do that much tapasya. He did so much austerity and got the perfect boon for himself. So somebody can say all these things are coming from Krishna. So how are they helpful in these people's spiritual elevation? These are supposed to be good qualities, right? Somebody could be giving charity, let's say for, I don't know, for slaughterhouses or think of some that kind of charity where people are not getting any benefit. Similarly, some people use their strength, right? Strength is also coming from Krishna, but they may use to suppress the weak people or to lord it over the material world. So yes, Ravi Prabhu wants to share. So what are the thoughts on that?
I think what it comes to my head, Mataji, Hare Krishna, that all those qualities are flowing from Krishna directly. but it depends on the modes of the nature that person is operating on. If the modes of the nature is not in the goodness mode or beyond goodness mode, then it is actually used for the destruction or for the self benefit. But if the person is operating in the transcendental mode or a mode of the goodness, then the same qualities are used for the benefit of others and the society.
Yes, Prabhuji, perfectly answered. Anybody else wants to share their thoughts or add anything? I think Prabhuji covered it. Or did somebody not understand? Okay, makes sense. Okay, yes, Anita Mataji, you sharing?
So yes, Mataji, you asked about the knowledge of making the atom bombs and all those, you know, devastating type of thing, right? Like that is also coming from Krishna. So why those kind of negative things are coming from Krishna, right? This is the thing that we are discussing, or did I understand something?
Yes, Mataji. So basically, you're saying the intelligence is coming from Krishna, and Prabhuji is answering that it's up to that person. If that person is using it in mode of ignorance, then he'll use it in a bad way. If somebody
Yes,
is in mode of goodness, then he will use the same thing for a good cause, for a good purpose, right? So
yes, Mataji. So just sorry, like I just wanted to say my understanding. So mode of goodness and mode of passion, and then the third one is what
mode of ignorance.
Ignorance. So I think to my understanding, the law of karma also comes into the play, like those who is getting the suffering out of those, like, you know, atom bomb or whatever. Maybe it is planned in such a way that, you know, the person's karma was not good, and those person only get impacted by the outcome of making the atom bomb. Or
Mataji, let's not confuse itna zyada law of karma, keep it separate. We all have our free will. Okay, we all have our free will. This is how you understand this concept. It is up to you, up to our free will, what you decide to do with the resources that have been given to us, right? So if you have been given, let's say, a knife and you decide to make prasadam with it, that's also up to you. And if you've been given a knife and you decide to cut somebody's throat, is also up to you, right? It is a free will given by Krishna. So you have that free will. The intelligence was given to you as a human being to use this intelligence wisely for various purposes. Somebody is using it in mode of ignorance, somebody is using it in mode of goodness, somebody is using it in mode of passion, right? Whether it's austerity, the potential for austerity, the potential for intelligence, the potential for charity, their wealth, their beauty, right? Their knowledge, everything is given by Krishna, but people use it in different way based, like Prabhuji said, based on their modes in which they operate. So we have to come to the mode of goodness so that everything that has been given to us will try to use more and more in service of Krishna and his devotees, more and more for advancing the spiritual consciousness of this world and not for degrading it. So most of the time we are just trying, you know, like eating, for example, just simple task of eating. Most people are eating for their own sense gratification. And in that eating, they are killing animals, they are, you know, wasting so many resources. They're, you know, also destroying their own body, like, you know, by eating bad foods, let's say. But somebody could be eating prasadam and offering it to other people. And in that, he's not only doing charity by offering prasadam to other people, he's also improving their spiritual consciousness, improving the material health and whatnot. So just by going to mode of goodness, the same act of eating has completely changed. So that is our free will, what we decide to do with it. So Krishna says, all these things come from me. It's up to you, right? What you do with it. Yes, Nirbhay Prabhu tries to share something.
What I was saying was that just to clarify that question, the question is, Mataji, what Natasha is asking is the intelligence of the person who created the bomb. That is what is being discussed. We are not thinking about the people who got affected, what is their karma or not, and that's why they died or whatever, because that can be unfortunately used in very wrong ways also if we start thinking like that. a butcher can say, or a person eating meat can say, no, it is this person's, this thing's karma, this animal's karma, that is why I'm killing it today. He killed me probably last, So we cannot understand law of karma like that, right? As Ravi Prabhu last time mentioned, the law of karma is very difficult to understand, and we have been told very clearly in Bhagavad Gita that we should not try to understand it too much and make too many conclusions out of it. Okay, so what here is being discussed is not that, let's say a bus full of children die due to something. We are not going to say that it was their karma, that is why they died, right? We are compassionate souls. We are going to, feel for that and feel like, oh, that's so bad. We are going to pray from them or do whatever we are going to do or can do. So we do not, and especially devotees, we should never in anybody's, it said, so a devotee is par dukham dukhi, right? Par dukham dukhi means if somebody is having some problem, we say that we are sad about it, that why is this soul suffering? That is why the devotee wants to share Krishna consciousness with everybody, because they want everybody to get that param bhavam which, a devotee or is feeling or can get or is trying to get. Whereas normal materialistic people, they use it in another way. They are par dukham sukhi. Somebody is having some problem. They are like, oh, okay, look at that guy, that person. Look what's happening to him, right? So the mood is not like that, right?
So remember that if anybody wants to, I think it's been a long time since we did the story of Amrish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. Maybe we can do that next time. But that tells you how a pure devotee is. Amrish Maharaj displayed all of those things, right? When he was leading the kingdom, he was using his intelligence and knowledge. It was under Krishna consciousness. He was completely free from any doubt. He displays all these traits. He's forgiveful. He forgives Durvasa Muni, right? He says, when Lord Vishnu sends Durvasa Muni back, no, go ask forgiveness from Amrish Maharaj. You insulted, you offended my pure devotee. So Durvasa Muni came back to Amrish Maharaj, and Amrish Maharaj immediately forgave him, right? Now, if you think about it, Durvasa Muni is a yogi, right? He's a transcendentalist. He can go between different lokas and whatnot. And Amrish Maharaj is a king. But Amrish Maharaj is a pure devotee of Lord. Durvasa Muni is not, right? Durvasa Muni, he gives into his anger sometimes. I was just listening, actually, before this class, we had Gaurang Darshan Prabhu's class arranged by Shubhalas Prabhu, and they were discussing this pastime of Durvasa Muni and Amrish Maharaj, how a pure devotee conducts, whereas just, a yogi. So, and this is another point to understand. A yogi may have all these qualities, but when you use them in relation to Krishna, like Amrish Maharaj did, then you can do the best by yourself, best by everybody else and your dependents. Otherwise, people can use their intelligence, and they will start doubting Bhagavad Gita, start asking, they use their intelligence to kind of look down upon devotees and Krishna. Mostly people use their intelligence to look down upon Krishna. They stand on a pedestal and judge everybody else. Whereas the meaning of intelligence is to be buddhi yoga, meaning engaging intelligence in the service of Krishna, right? Dadami buddhi yogam tam. So why is it called buddhi yoga? Why doesn't Krishna say dadami buddhim tam? Why does he say dadami buddhi yogam tam? Because the buddhi is supposed to connect you to Krishna. Yoga means connecting to Krishna. So buddhi yoga means that with the buddhi intelligence, you have to connect to Krishna, right? So with everything, the pure devotee tries to connect to Krishna, whereas anybody else may use their intelligence to create more doubts and to mostly cause more material degradation in the world. So Durvasa Muni, for example, has the intelligence, has the knowledge, but he is not engaging it in service of Krishna. So he's not able to display all these qualities like Amrish Maharaj did. We have to follow in the footsteps of not a yogi, but of a pure devotee. And this is another point coming to now 9th and 10th chapter. We have to understand we're trying to become a devotee, not a yogi. And these are the qualities of a yogi, but they have to be employed in service of Krishna, and then they'll become the qualities of a pure devotee. So that's how the devotee conducts themselves. So think of, if you have to think of Amrish Maharaj, how he would conduct. Yes, Ravi Prabhu, are you sharing something?
Mataji, just one line I wanted to basically pass it on to everybody on this platform. I have heard this from a self-realized soul. We should not talk about karma just like that, not even like whether devotee or non-devotee. Just don't talk about karma at all, because the karma comes back to us. So कभी भी किसी के बारे में कि तुम्हारा कर्म है या नहीं है, कभी भी बात ही नहीं करना है. कर्मो गहनो गति. So we don't have that much intelligence to understand karma. So we should not even talk about karma. And I have heard this many times from self-realized soul. They encourage not to talk about karma. You understand, and you keep yourself to a point where you just do things which is not going to hurt others. That's it. If somebody is hurting, not hurting, that is up to them. Even if it comes to hate, don't even open the mouth about karma, because it actually falls back on us. So it's very, very important that karmo gahno gati, remember these 3 words, and we don't have the intelligence to understand that gati. It's very gahan.
Prabhuji, this is what I was trying to say 3 classes back.
I know, Mataji. I know very well what you were trying to say, and that's what, so I thought, okay, it's very...
You are perfectly right, Prabhuji, and that is what I was trying to say before. I'm trying to say this last few times. We do not need to talk about karma.
At all.
Mataji, even yourself, when you're, I know you're not talking about other people, you're probably just thinking about yourself. Even yourself, you don't need to think something is happening to me because I did this karma, that. This is not your place to do that. Your job is that you've been given a free will, and how you use that free will. That is the only thing in your control. Law of karma is anyways not in your control. So by meditating on it, thinking on it for yourself or for others is not going to benefit you. So you never talk about this. This is just to understand. So we never do anything bad for anybody. But you don't need, when something bad happens to somebody, you always say it's Krishna's plan, it's Krishna's arrangement. And for yourself also, otherwise it will give you people an excuse, like Nirbhay Prabhu was saying. It gives people an excuse. Okay, I am doing this because this was deserved by them because of their karma. No, this is not why you're doing it. You're misusing your free will if you're harming somebody. So our free will is to advance in Krishna consciousness, to associate with devotees, to try to cleanse our consciousness, purify our consciousness. And Prabhupada used to say, this is a very famous quote by Prabhupada, purity is the force. Okay, purity is the force, books are the basis, utility is the principle, and Nirbhay Prabhu will remember. What is the essence? He's not here. But anyways, purity is the force. So we have to purify ourselves. That if we purify ourselves, then we can give Krishna consciousness to others and advance in this path. That is our only job. And you should do, other material jobs with detachment, other material engagements with detachment, and spiritual engagements with full force, with full purity. And Krishna in this shloka is telling you what will give you the purity. All these things, Shama, Dama, Sama, Tapa, all these things will give us the purity. Control of senses, control of mind, by forgiving others, by being self-satisfied, by being austere. All these things will give us the purity. So purity is the force. So that is what we have to remember. Don't analyze too much about, like Prabhuji said, about law of karma. Don't analyze in that way at all. Should we stop here? Or anybody? Yes, Sheetal Mataji, you sharing?
Mataji, preaching is the essence.
Preaching is the essence. Yes, purity is the force. Books are the basis. So that's why everything is based on the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Books are the basis. Preaching is the essence. If we give it to other people, then we get it also more. We get Krishna's Anukampa, the causeless mercy. We advance more. When we are trying to convince other people of something, the first person that will get convinced is you, right? So you should, like you are doing, teaching your sisters, Ravi Prabhu is giving to his family, so preaching is the essence, and utility is the principle. That's why all this knowledge will not amount to much if we just, okay, just 2 hours I'll spend on the weekend listening to this lady. But utility is the principle. You have to utilize it. We talk about, eating prasadam. We talk about doing some austerities, talk about purifying ourselves. Let's start implementing some of these things. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. So for us, at this point, we just have to focus on being in a mode of goodness, right? Like, or if we are not there, then we have to try our best to reach there.
Yes.
So that is the thing that we have to focus on, and that is the thing that we have to do.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Before becoming a devotee, we have to become a good human being, right? So good human being means as much in mode of goodness as possible. So
Thank you,
then
Mataji.
progress from that as the basis, you can make a big, strong skyscraper on it.
They say ride your BMW, body, mind, and words, and don't have any accident. So always be in the BMW, Mataji, but do not hurt anybody. That's it.
Okay. So any other questions, or anyone wants to share their thoughts, realizations? Nana Prabhuji, would you like to share something?
No, madam, I just wanted to ask you one thing, that Shubha, Ashubh are good or bad qualities, all originated by Krishna, from Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So I just wanted to know from you little bit of explanation on these bad and good qualities.
Yes, Prabhuji.
One good thing we do may be bad for others. Like take a soldier, and you just talk about the bomb. One who makes bomb for his country, so that is a good work for him. But for opponents, it is a bad work.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Because they are destroying unnecessary and unwanted people. So this all originated from Krishna. I just wanted a little bit elaboration on this.
Yes,
Shubha,
Prabhuji.
good bad qualities.
Yes, Prabhuji, you're very correct. This is a very nice, very, very nice question. Let me show you what Prabhupada said about this, but I'm not able to find it. This is a big purport. Please, everybody read this purport if possible. I'll just share what I read here, actually according to Prabhupada himself. Maybe Nirbhay Prabhu or somebody can look in this purport and try to find this part about auspicious and inauspicious. Till then, I'll just start sharing very quickly. So yes, Prabhuji. So in the material world, Prabhuji, everything is said to be actually inauspicious. Meaning when we try to do everything with our efforts, our understanding, they actually turn out to be inauspicious either for ourselves or for somebody. मतलब किसी का तो कुछ बुरा होगा ही, right? Let's say even if you're treating a disease with a medicine, right? The medicine may help, but it also has, when they talk about medicine, they list the advantage, the benefits just in one line, and then the whole paragraph on side effects. So everything in the material world has a lot of side effects, and everything is inauspicious. Okay. So like we talked about this recently. We say samsara davanala, right? The material existence is compared with the forest fire, right? That this is a big forest fire. Huh? How do you extinguish this forest fire? With our own effort, we can, what will we do? We'll call fire departments, we'll get a lot of hoses, small hoses, and so much time will be wasted on this, so much effort, so much money, so much energy will go, right? So many people are running with their small little hoses to extinguish this forest fire. But actually, what is needed to extinguish this forest fire within like seconds? We need a huge downpour of rain, right? If there was a huge downpour of rain, we won't need to do all of this. It will be extinguished within few seconds. So that downpour of rain is compared to Krishna's mercy or shelter of Krishna. So when we have this material existence, which is like forest fire, what we need actually we can put our own efforts. Nobody's saying don't put your own efforts. You can put your own efforts, but somebody will be harmed in that. So you will lose some money or time or energy or resources. Somebody else may lose some time. And so with our own efforts, we'll create some problem or the other, no doubt. That is why in material existence, things are mostly inauspicious. But when we take shelter of Krishna, then there will be downpour of rain and it will extinguish that forest fire, the davanal, within a matter of few seconds. So
Yeah.
that is why we're trying to elevate ourselves to this transcendental platform where all inauspiciousness goes away. But here, when we use something, you're right, it can be auspicious or inauspicious. It will be inauspicious for other person. That is why they are called relative problems. Even if somebody dies, somebody else is getting benefited. How? They may be getting to do their funeral ceremony. The priest may be getting some money, right? So these are called relative problems because your problem is not somebody else's problem. It may be somebody else's benefit, right? You get a ticket on the road, the cop may be getting, oh, I got to give extra ticket, so one person's problem will be other person's, maybe other person's benefit. So things are always in auspicious here. That is why this is dukhalem shashvatam, anityam sukham, and that's why we're trying to get out of here.
By the he's saying somebody dies, then somebody makes the bill, and they are rich people. Then somebody is happy. Oh, chala gaya, wo mere ko milega.
किसी को प्रॉपर्टी मिल जाएगी, राइट? somebody may be happy, किसी को कॉफिन बेचने को मिल जाएगा, राइट? so मतलब somebody will be getting benefit even with the death of somebody. So imagine that such a bad state here. Yes, Nirbhay Prabhu, are you sharing something?
I'm not sure which.
This same shloka that we just read.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I don't know about this, but in Bhagavatam, remember, there's a shloka where it says that Prahlad Maharaj says that we should not try to, when we try to solve problems, with material solutions, they create more problems. In the 7th canto, I don't know which shloka it is, but remember in 7th canto we had read
Yes,
that.
yes. There are many shlokas which say that same point. Okay, I just read it in one of these purports. I have to find it. But Prabhupada talks about it. It's the same thing that we just talked about. It's just written by Prabhupada in the purports. Okay, is that clear or any doubts?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very, very nice question.
Yes.
Another thing I thought of, anger is another thing, right? Some people use it in a bad way, some people in a good way. Like Lord Hanuman used it for the service of Lord Ram, and some people use it. Anger is mostly used in mode of ignorance, but look at how Hanumanji used it. Also comes from Krishna only. Okay, shall we chant?
Yeah.
Namo.
That's where what you were talking about, what you wanted to read in that purport. If you scroll down and okay, ahimsa is the word. Yes. Ahimsa, non-violence. That's where.
Yeah.
That is.
Yes, Mataji. And actually, in the previous shloka before this is described. What Prabhuji asked, what Nana Prabhu asked about inauspiciousness. That is in this one here. Anything done under the direction of Krishna is transcendental. It cannot be contaminated by material reactions, which may be auspicious or inauspicious. And the conception that there are things auspicious and inauspicious in the material world is more or less a mental concoction, because there is nothing auspicious in the material world. Everything is inauspicious because the very material nature is inauspicious. We simply imagine it to be auspicious. Real auspiciousness depends on the activities in Krishna consciousness in full devotion and service. So that part we discussed already, I think. Okay. Puja Mataji, I see you chanting on the chanting beads. Very bold. Very nice. Did you did you get it from temple?
No, I got it online.
You have the beads already? You had them already?
No, recently I ordered.
You ordered it online, Mataji.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, very nice. Okay, Mataji. So yeah, please chant. Harinam is very powerful. At least 2 to 4 rounds, whatever you think you can. Maybe 2 rounds. Avinash Prabhu is staying hidden today.
Kanishka?
He left. Okay. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. Vancha kaltarubhyascha Vaishnaveभ्यो Vaishnaveभ्यो Namo Namo Gaur Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namo
Namo Namah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Very bold. Please try to memorize 10.8 to 11 the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, very strong shlokas if possible. And kids, kids that have memorized can do 12, 13. Okay. All right.
Raina, I didn't get to say congratulations to you yesterday.